Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A little question. Do you think the evil Russians are winning the war against NATO in Ukraine or they're losing? I think that they are winning, but not at the pace they probably expected. Not that they are fighting the Ukrainians. I think if it would have been a Russia-Ukraine straight fight, the war would have ended, in my assessment, in 2 weeks. That's how much I gave it. Now, NATO activated its plan. That's the better word usage here. And then everything changed. So when you hear these baboons saying, oh, Russia can't even beat Ukraine, how in the hell do you think it's going to beat blah, blah, blah? Okay, that's good. That means no panic in the West. But they create panic in the West. Why? To get you shut the hell up and pay your taxes. So the Russians are winning, slowly in Ukraine, I think. And just the mere fact that Russia did not collapse as a country, it's a victory for them. Because all the financial, I'm using all, overemphasizing it, all the financial institutions, global financial institutions, the most powerful, are located in the West. And they're activated against the Russians. And all the sanctions and all this trying to make everybody isolate the evil Putin did not work. So that's a great success. The ruble did not collapse. The economy did not implode. The people, the Russians, did not show up at the Kremlin with pitchforks and with the torches to get Putin like they got Gaddafi. Remember that one? It is the same people. The good people of the free North Atlantic defensive organization. So what do we have here? We have two articles talking about the Russians' successes in 2024. They're going to tell you how many square miles they occupied or liberated, however you want to look at it, and the number of troops during this process, according to the Ukrainians. All right? So that's the first topic. The second one is the Russians, again, launched a massive drone attack on Ukraine, including Kyiv, where the Russians, the evil Russians, they damaged the Ukrainian Parliament building. They damaged it. Then we have a delusional big liar, and that is Zelenskyy. He's going to tell us about the Kursk advantage in the negotiations with the Russians. And in the next article, he, the big liar, tells us that Putin doesn't want to negotiate, when actually it is he who submitted to the approval of Rada and all that, we're not going to negotiate with the Russians. All right, big liar, and as I said, he's just delusional. So let's start with the first article. This comes from Business Insider. Look at the date, January 2nd, 2025. Why? Because I have this one from the Russians, which is from the 31st of December. So these guys are Johnny-come-lately telling us that Russia seized 1,600 square miles of Ukraine's territory in 2024, while losing, they say, 427,000 troops. Exactly 427. Nothing in here. That tells you that's an estimate. Well, okay, wild one, I have no idea. And the fact that this Institute for the Study of War claims it, for me, it tells me most likely is a baboonish number. Why? Go and look who is the director of Institute for the Study of War. Oh, don't worry, it's Kimberly Kagan, married with Mr. Kagan. Mr. Kagan has a brother, another Kagan, who's married to Victoria Nuland. So you got that? So Institute for the Study of War is a not trustworthy US-based, Washington, D.C.-based think tank. It's a propaganda think tank. A US think tank right there estimates Russia lost about 40 troops per square mile seized in Ukraine in 2024. Russia's losses in its invasion of Ukraine are thought to have soared toward the end of the year. The former Russian president's remarks suggest Russia added just enough troops to replace its losses. Sorry to break the news for the baboons, but I have to. Russia has a potential of about 30 million people, adult males. They could be potentially, to push back the Wehrmacht. I mean NATO. Okay. They did in the Second World War. Well, there was some. This is not a general mobilization. So if the Russians really want, I guarantee you they can stop further than Ukraine. All right, I know Poland will stop them again with Sobieski at Vienna. All right, let's move on. Yeah, great achievement. I like Sobieski, by the way. A US think tank. All right. The Institute for the Study of War, which has been tracking Russia's full-scale invasion, said that it has been geolocated evidence indicating that Russian forces advanced 4,168 exact square miles, or about 1,609 square miles last year. But this is an estimate right here. It's not like this number here. It is 427 Russian troops have been killed or injured in 2027, according to the Russian general of the Ukrainian armed forces, supposedly, Alexander Syrsky. Okay, well, these guys I told you to look at the date, it's the 2nd. And this one, on the 31st, these guys don't mention the Institute for the Study of War. Why? Because the Ukrainians are owned by the Steins. Owned. 2024 milestone, Russian army liberates over 200 settlements. And at the bottom here you find out, right here, in total, the Russian armed forces have liberated exactly 4,500 square kilometers of territory previously occupied by the Ukrainian military. So this guy said we liberated 4,500. This guy said they occupied, where's that? 4,100 square kilometers. So about the same. But these guys use these liars and these guys use their liars. Okay, just so you know. Exaggerations? Probably. All right. Ukrainska Pravda. Ukrainian air defenses destroy 60 Russian Shahed UAVs. Hits reported in 2 oblasts. Civilian killed by wreckage in Kyiv Oblast. Here is the evidence of those 60 Shaheds that they downed. Russian forces attacked Ukraine with 93 Shahed loitering munitions and decoy drones of other types on the night of 2 to 3 January. Ukrainian air defense units have destroyed 60, exactly, with hit records in 2 oblasts. Wreckage from Russian UAVs damaged houses and cars and claimed to Baba with hits recorded in 2 oblasts. So the hits were. So they tell us that the Russians attacked Poltava, Sumy, Kharkiv, Kiev, Chernihiv, Cherkasy, Zhytomyr, Donetsk, and Dnipropetrovsk, from where they tell us usually the same areas. But let's go to this. New Voice of Ukraine. Russia attacks Ukraine overnight with 93 drones. 86 intercepted or lost to location. Denial. Oh my God. Second World War, baby, denial. Russian forces launched an attack on Ukraine using 93 Shahed drones on various types of imitation UAVs, with air defense systems intercepting 60 drones. Got it? So another 26 imitation drones were rendered inoperable due to countermeasures by the Ukraine's defense forces, while 1 remained airborne according to the Air Force. We got that? We got that. Now let's see what happened to the parliament buildings. Ukrainska Pravda today is, this is from yesterday. Blast wave from Russian drone attack damaged Ukrainian parliament buildings. So just, just the wave. Is it direct hits or just the sound of what? Successful, not successful? I mean, this is not a drone. If a drone gets in your house doesn't look like that. Administrative buildings, which house committees and subdivisions of Verkhovna Rada, Ukrainian parliament, were damaged in a Russian drone attack on Kiev on 1st of January. Now, who is allowed to publish pictures? Do you think these pictures were published without the Ukrainian military approval? No. So this is what they show. A window, boop, boop, boop. Was it successful for those guys over there, I was about to say. For the Russians, well, I don't know if that was the intent. to just break some windows, or really these guys don't show us the real pictures. Nevertheless, let's see what the big liar, delusional guy says. Ukraine form, right there. Kursk operation, Kursk, I will show you where that is. A strong Trump card. He uses, the Trump, so he's with Trump now. In all negotiations. What are you talking about? What negotiations? You said nobody is allowed to negotiate with Putin. I think that's a law in Ukraine at this point where you're not allowed by law to negotiate with Putin. What's changed? So, that's what he says, man. If he says, it must be true. So let me show you where Kursk is located. Kursk is located, let me show you a map right here. So this is the map of Ukrainska. This is what the Russians took. This is the Crimean Peninsula in the south. Kursk is right here. This is NATO's invasion through Ukrainians, or using Ukrainians, of Russia. So this is a success for the Ukrainians, I gotta tell you that. But from using this, or this success as being a strong trump card, I don't think so. And remember, this guy said that Putin ordered the liberation or the whatever of Kursk by the Christmas Day. Probably they couldn't because the strong Ukrainians stopped them. Whatever it is, the thing is like this. The evidence. The part of Kursk, little, tiny, mini, is occupied by these guys. That's true. Do you think that's a strong trump card? I guarantee you that doesn't even enter the conversation negotiations for the Russians. At all. At all. They want it all. Like Queen song, I want it all. The same is going to be here. I want it all. I think that Kursk, they say, yeah, we're going to take care of Kursk, don't worry. And they will. What do you think there's going to be the new Ukraine, Kursk region, the little occupied by NATO? No, the Russians don't even consider that. But hey, this is for baboons. In all negotiations, hold your horses, baby doll. You are far ahead of your skis. And you're, okay, they're back there. And let me show you here how this guy is not only a big liar, but a delusional guy. So the first article, I think it shows his delusion that it's going to be a strong negotiating point with the Russians. And the other one is the big liar. Putin dodges negotiations at all costs, Zelensky says. Is this what it is? So this guy, all these pictures are not taken, these pictures are not taken by he's having conversations and he's like this, strong. This is PR. Picture session, Mr. Zelensky Stein, and they take thousands of pictures and then they put it for different articles. This is not, do you think it's just, he's talking like this, man, and they found it like that. All right. So remember, they say Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is trying to avoid direct talks with Ukraine by any means possible. First, they think you are illegitimate. And all the governments after the illegal overthrow coup d'etat in 2014 of the democratically elected government and legitimate government of Viktor Yanukovych was overthrown with the help of the democratic forces from outside. And immediately the traitors were recognized. So I think you're illegitimate. Everything that comes after an overthrow like that, and besides, I don't think Donbass voted for him. So what is he talking about? And by the way, I think the martial law is still over there, and therefore there were no elections. And according to the Russians, doesn't mean that they're right. This guy is illegitimate. It should be the parliament, the Rada, in charge of Ukraine, not this illegitimate baboon Stein elected. Okay? So he says that Putin doesn't want to communicate with him. Not he has the law that they don't want to talk to him. Putin is more legitimate than this baboon, just so you know. Why? He got elected. I know, the Russian elections are all as they are because the operatives tell us so. So when they win in a country, that's legitimate, that's perfect elections. When they lose, something happens. Like Romania. Hey, what is Romania doing? They have a German in charge of their country, as you have Zelensky Stein in charge of this country. And we can, you have Mr. Zappelbaum in Mexico. It just happens, man. It just happens. I wonder why Israel doesn't have an Iranian president or chief of Mossad or a prime minister. Why not? Or a Palestinian. But we all have to have someone else. The Romanians have a German, the Hungarians are supposed to have a Romanian, the French are supposed to have a, Algerian, the Brits are supposed to have an Indian, like this. But the Indians are supposed to have an English guy or a Welsh. What is this? Who are these people? I don't have to go into Ireland. I mean, if we go to Ireland, we're fucked with all those guys. The conservatives have a... Go and see who's in charge of the conservative movement in Republic of Ireland. And you're going to be... Anyway, here it is, my friends. Putin doesn't want to talk. He's not going to talk to you. Because he knows, first, you, according to him, you're not legitimate. Secondly, you're not in charge. So it's like you go to a store. When I go to a store with a little problem over there, let's say return something or have something, I don't talk to the people that cannot solve my problems. I say, who is the decision maker here? That's the person I want to talk to. You're not. Thank you. You're very nice. Thank you very much. You're very nice too. Okay. But no, you can't solve my problem. Why? I'm going to spend here some of my time, valuable time, mind you, to talk to you nicely for about, I don't know how much it is. And then you tell me, let me call the manager. Or why did I bother? I don't want to do this. Call the manager right now. I don't want to talk to you if you have no decision-making power. Well, yeah, I have to. This is the... Okay. Well, I don't talk to you. Bring the manager. You have to bring the manager. No. I don't want to waste my time. But just saying, Putin is not going to talk to Zelensky. Zelensky is not the decision maker in Ukraine. He's just a... All right, this is what, a clown. Thank you very much for being with me again today. And I didn't mean the military being a clown. Is that America's orders? That's what I meant. As a clown, because he's a clown. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.